Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to
Mm.
discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimi, our passionate heart,
Yeah, I am.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. hmm
Okay, back for another show. We'll just catch up and check in. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Coming off of a long weekend because last weekend was
Mm.
family day here in Ontario. And so this past week, even though it was short, it felt long as ever. Oh my gosh. I hate it when it feels
That's the
like that.
worst. It's supposed to feel
Right?
short.
It right, but it felt like it just dragged on. But overall, I can't complain. It was nice time with family, and a little rest and relaxation, so I can't complain. How about you? How you doing, girl?
I'm doing pretty good, trudging along. Uh I guess what was it? The family day weekend. Yeah, I just use that as an opportunity to rest because the weeks leading up to it were pretty hectic work wise. So I was more than happy to veg out that weekend.
Yeah.
And yeah, so otherwise I'm okay.
Yeah, I got to watch a movie, which we'll talk about a little bit later, the Bob
Mhm.
Marley movie, which was very, very nice. I liked it. So we'll discuss a little bit more later on. But other than that, it sounds like we had a pretty good week. You know.
Nice. Okay, so let me jump into the headlines. So again, we just want to say, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Continue to like, subscribe, follow, download all any platforms that you listen to our podcast. And thanks again for
Yes.
tuning in. And okay, so first thing we have to cover, we didn't have an episode last week, so we have to talk about do a quick Super Bowl recap.
Yes.
I mean, we always say we're not a sports podcast, but this is culture. This is
That's
just
right.
pop culture. So we have to talk about the pop culture aspects, which is of course the halftime show,
Yep.
and
That's the
and
only part I was interested in.
and of
I'll
course
tell you.
and
hmm
the celebrity sightings and the commercials, of course. I don't know
Of
if you're
course.
into the Super Bowl commercials, but that is a big moment for commercials every year.
hmm Paying arm and a leg to have.
Oh yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it. I think some people played. I don't know if it was a 7 million. I think because the only reason I know is because of Kanye.
Kanye.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Kanye. He's in a cab or something
Yeah,
doing this video. Like I was like, Kanye, for real. Like you couldn't at least be stationary. Like
and I'm
please.
still to this day. I'm like, did it air on TV? Did it air
Yeah,
live?
during the Super Bowl.
That
Like
is
Kanye, Jesus.
wild. But I mean, it's also pretty. It's actually pretty cool. But it's almost like. But I almost feel like he doesn't need a commercial to sell anything. Like literally, he can go on Instagram because I saw that video on Instagram, and I'm sure he would have made. Okay, maybe he
Well,
wouldn't
he
have made.
did
No.
after the video,
Mhm.
sorry, not the video, the commercial that he produced. He people bought the shoes like $2 million worth or something
I think
like that.
it
The
was no, it
numbers
was actually something crazy. That's why I was catching
like 20
myself.
million or something,
Yes, exactly.
something in the twos,
It
something
was
in the twos.
19 million.
See, so
And I
like
think he
anything
would have.
Kanye touches, it's just like gold. Like it's just
I
like
think with
gold.
and what where I was going, or I was gonna say, is he would have sold regardless, but he wouldn't have made 19 million over 24 in within like 24 hours if he didn't have a
No, he
commercial.
wouldn't have.
So
But I
that's
think
more.
the concept
Yeah.
is what really drove people to want to buy it,
Mm.
buy his shoes, was that he just, while in a cab or an Uber, my man just made a full commercial, posted it. You know, I will say that Kanye kind of defies all of the industry standards, I guess, like, making
that
commercials
goes
and all
without
that.
saying.
Yeah, and so that's why I think a lot of people mess with him and are willing
Yeah.
to buy his stuff as soon as they hear about it. Because I was just wondering to myself, like, are people really gonna buy this shoe
Oh, come on,
after
Kim. That's not a
this?
real question.
No, but after this tobacco of a commercial, like, what is this? I just thought it was like, oh, okay, no, but it's Kanye. So I don't know why I doubted him, but Mr. Kanye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the performance, so we'll just jump right into the halftime
Mhm.
show. I saw that live. I was like, my dad was watching. I literally went over to my parents' house because I don't have cable. So
Mhm.
I saw it live when it was happening. And there was just too much going on. I'm just gonna say it. Like, okay, first let me say I loved it. I wanted to say, like,
Mhm.
of course, this is Usher. He looked amazing. It was nice to see him get his shine and this like 1 in a million opportunity or whatever. Of course,
Mhm.
very much deserved. But I just felt like you're doing too much. Like, I mean, it's always like that with the Super Bowl. It's only like, I can't remember the exact, like, 6 or 7 minutes. I don't remember the exact amount of
I
time
think
they
he had
have.
like 20 minutes in total from start to finish. So I
No, no,
think.
no, no. It can't be. That's too. No, this couldn't be 20 minutes. Let me see what. Let me see. It's like eight. I think it's like 8 minutes. But like, I'll double check. But it's either way. It's a controlled time. So every time, unless it changes every year, too. Maybe to your point. But it was just felt so rushed because remember he has hits. We know if there's one thing we know about
Yep.
Usher is he's been in his had a long career.
Yeah, he has
And
hits for days.
okay, so it was like to 12 minutes. 12 minutes. It felt much more rushed than 12 minutes, and that's maybe again to go to my point where he was doing too much. I mean, I feel like it just needed to be tightened up. Like, yes, you have a lot
Mhm.
of hits, but do the ones there's a way to do it smartly and add little flavors, as I call, which he did. But
Mhm.
like, say, the one where he's like 7 o'clock on the dot, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da, when it like he did like a 20-second reference to that where he does say that and
Right.
there's a clock that pops up. I'm like, are you kidding me? You needed to give
Right?
that so much more time, right? If you had 12 minutes, again, it didn't feel like 12 minutes. Like, it felt
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
5 minutes.
Mhm.
The Alicia Keys debacle, he had My Boo.
Well,
Again, My Boo got
yeah, and
way too much time.
I wanted to call that out because last episode that we had, we were trying to guess as to who he would bring out on stage. And I just
Hmm.
wanted to point out that
Hmm.
we had two of them down pat, Little John and Alicia Keys. I did not expect Ludacris.
Or
That
Will I Am.
was
Will I Am. I was
that
like,
was left.
how did I forget about Will I Am? Because oh my
Me
god.
too, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, but what I will say, when I think of a halftime of a football game that's high energy,
Yeah.
some of the songs, the tempo, I just felt like it wasn't really appropriate for why we're here. Like, we're here at a football game. People want to get, riled up. People want to feel hype. It's a hype environment, right? So some of the more mellow tempos that he had in some of his songs, like the one that you just mentioned, I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know. It kind of, like, don't get me wrong, I love Usher and he did a really great job. Like, altogether, he's
Yeah.
top performer as far as I'm concerned, right? Hands down. However, I just thought that some of the songs were a little bit slower pace and kind of dragged a bit, and I just didn't. I wasn't like, if it were any other scenario, any other setting, I would love it, But I feel like I needed more high energy, and when Little John came out, for instance, like, I was like, yeah, this is how you want to feel at a football game. You want to feel hype.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but there was other tobaccos, like the Alicia Keys. I don't know what's happening with Alicia Keys, but girlfriend, your voice,
That first note.
the first couple notes, you mean the first couple, yeah,
No, but that's
because
what I. But I've been thinking that about her for a long time because when she first came out,
mm-hmm,
yes, I was a fan. I am a
yeah,
fan. Like her first three albums, hey,
they were sick,
classics,
like, just
classics.
sick.
Okay,
I couldn't
but
expect anything
let me
better.
just, but as a performer, the last 6 years, like, when it comes to singing, I don't know. Her voice is shot to shit. I don't know what, but she
Well, I
doesn't.
know why you want to go steal somebody's man while he's still in a situation. Well,
Uh,
okay,
oh
Miss
God.
Alicia.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm just saying, karma's a bitch. So, you know, but what I did want to point out, she's a married woman. Why the
mhm.
hell is Usher up on her like that? Like,
Oh
Usher,
Kim,
you
come
need to stop.
on.
Nah, man, Usher, you need to stop doing this shit, okay? Because you're getting people in trouble.
Uh,
Okay,
sh-
you're getting people in trouble and shit. People, relationships, mash up, muck up, big problem. Nah, Bridget, nah. Listen, I know Usher's a lover boy. I know he's a
mhm,
performer. I know
mhm.
he's touchy feely and everything, but speaking from a married woman's perspective, listen, I don't think my man would be okay with another man so close to me like
Yeah,
that.
but are you a professional performer?
Performer or no damn performer, okay? Swiss Beats don't give a shit. You see what I'm saying? Swiss Beats is not a performer, he's a beat maker. You
Yes,
understand?
he is. He's a
And
rapper.
uh, uh,
And he came out and
okay.
he's the first one he was the first one who came online to like say, yeah, y'all chill or whatever. It's fine.
No,
It's
but he
performance.
had to do that. He didn't have no damn choice. People are all looking at him like, Swiss, huh? What? You let your woman on the stage like this? I understand it's a performance. I get it, right? But sometimes, Usher, you're a little too touchy feely, bro. Like you're a little bit too touchy feely. And you see it with Mary J. Blige. One time
Yeah.
he tried to do that to Mary J. Mary J was like, back up off me, bro. Back
Yeah.
up off me. Because he is a little too touchy feely. And
I hear you.
sometimes maybe I don't want to perform with you like that. Do you know what I mean? Like you could still perform and still be affectionate and show a connection without having to go behind women and hold them up underneath breasts and like Richard, you're doing too much. Especially since you got married. What's your wife? I'm sorry, I couldn't be your wife. I
Well,
couldn't be your wife because
that's
I'd be like, yo, bro. Yeah,
she knows who she married.
she must.
Yeah, right?
She
So
must.
yeah,
Okay.
so those are my notes. Oh, and then anything else
And
that,
by the
okay.
way, doesn't really have a good track record with cheating. Okay, he doesn't have a really good track. So maybe you need to ease up off the female body just a little bit, Usher. I'm just
It's a
saying.
part,
I'm just saying.
you know, my favorite saying on here with me and my background, it's a part of the brand.
Oh please, listen.
It's a part of
We
no,
can
seriously.
classy up that brand a little bit because now you're a married man.
He's never been, I don't think he's ever been not classy with his approach, though.
What?
No. No.
Okay.
It always
His full penis was in her back. Okay, I don't care what anyone tells me. Okay, I don't care what anyone tells me.
okay.
Okay, he was too close for comfort. Back
One
up off me, just hello. Can I have a breathing space, please? I
so
mean,
one more thing from that. So we had Jermaine Dupri, of course, was there looking like a toddler.
I don't know what. I don't know. Those socks. It just.
The shorts, the socks, everything is like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And you know,
Shot
another
man
thing I'd have
syndrome.
to say, long story short, he put his city on the map and he represented and he brought
He
those
sure
folks.
did. Yeah, I'll
And
give him that.
another
Hmm.
thing you said, the slow songs, but I think, remember, Super Bowl halftime show is now with Jay-Z involved. It's not, it's more than just the Super Bowl. It's a cultural thing now, and I like that Usher shouted out where his roots and where he came from, which is like R&B music. And
Hmm.
I really appreciated that he had those moments, he had those touches.
Yeah.
But I just felt like you trying to do way too much for that 12 minutes because it felt like 5 minutes, meaning it was definitely rushed. He has enough songs to curate a smoother situation, but
And
nevertheless,
therefore, we can leave out some of the slower tempo songs. Like,
no, I think, no, again, like I'm saying, I think he needs to, this is it's his moment and it's our moment as like people who enjoy him, and it's also the Super Bowl movement. So yes, you have the hype, but
hello?
yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, there was a little bit of a buzz going on. I don't know what
Oh,
happened there.
maybe it was a delay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I agree with you. Usher did a great job. He and it kind of felt a little, a little rushed. It
Yeah.
did. It
Hmm.
did. And that's why I feel like, sometimes it's not always about, you know, quantity. Sometimes it's about quality. You
That's
know what
it.
I
That's
mean?
all. That's my review. It's like it was good, but it could have been great. It definitely was up there. I mean, I don't think. I mean, some people are like Charlemagne was trying to say it was like up in the top three. Personally,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
maybe
about three, maybe
I don't know
five,
about
but
five, maybe five. Yeah, because I'm sorry, like Michael Jackson, Prince, Diana Ross, Beyonce,
like,
Beyonce, and what's his name, the short boy. I can't remember his name. Bruno Mars. That one was
yeah,
crazy.
even Janet Jackson. Didn't Janet Jackson? Yeah, she was on it.
Oh, that
The
yeah, we got
controversy.
it was a lot of scandal, so we never forget, we never mentioned that one, but it was a good one.
No, I'm gonna mention it forever because you know what? I don't feel like Janet was the only person at fault in that situation, yet she got the most heat.
Mm,
So, and now it's like
it
everybody's
was a
trying to do
moment.
that.
Everybody's trying to
She
create a
started
moment.
a trend, if anything. Shit,
Yeah,
she did.
true.
But I mean, that was a big moment. I mean, these are lots of big moments. And so, Usher, you know what? You had your moment and you did the damn thing. I will say that. You
Yeah,
did the
yeah.
damn thing. You showed us why you are Usher and why you are, in my eyes, the king of R&B as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yes,
So,
we said it. Yeah.
you know, he did
All
the
right.
damn
So
thing.
I was gonna go to. Did you see any commercials? Or did you see any news about
Not
commercials?
really.
No.
I tuned in just for Usher, and
Okay.
after Usher was done, so was
I.
I,
So were
and
you?
change.
Uh,
Well, I changed it momentarily, and then my husband went back to
I was
watching the
just about
football
to.
game.
I was just about to say, does
Yeah,
your husband? I don't know. I wasn't sure
yeah,
if he watches
yeah.
football or
He
not.
sure did. He sure did. He took up the whole TV for
See, I
this.
was like, you changed it on him. Okay, so.
Just momentarily, and he's like, "Put it back, put it back." I'm like, "Okay, okay." Because God
so,
forbid, shoot.
all right, so so the ones, so of course Beyonce broke the internet with, she did one with Verizon, which it's actually really cute. I really like it. I saw one for Post Malone did one for Bud Light. That's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dunkin' Donut one is another one that, like, I don't know how to say this, but our Caucasian cousins, they love this one. I saw it because if you like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, like that whole like pair,
Mm-hmm.
like they're like Hollywood, whatever. It was actually fun. It was fun, but I'm like, I didn't, when I saw it, I was like, this is what you guys are.
Right?
But yeah, Beyonce definitely broke the internet because in that commercial, they go through the commercial where pretty much the theme is that, oh, Verizon's service is so good that it can handle anything, even anybody breaking the internet, including Beyonce, right? So she's going through a series of things, and there's another guy co-star who's like, did it break, did it break, did it break? And she's like, you know what, just drop the music at the end, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's it, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
hints, like, I was late, and then like literally the next day everybody's like, Beyonce dropped 2 country songs. I was like, what? Shit, she really dropped
Right?
music? Like, I should have known better. But we'll talk about that later, with which was a pretty interesting release for her country songs, and now we know Renaissance 2 is going to be country themed, so
Mm-hmm.
excited for that. And there's some cultural reference because a lot of people don't, well, I don't know, I think the white Americans have co-opted country so hard and so fast that people don't know that the roots of black country music come from black people playing banjo music, and that kind
Yep.
of, it grew and evolved from that to so many different factors. Like, country as a whole is just like the umbrella, but there's so much. There's bluegrass, there's deep soul, there's funk, there's just so many. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
crazy genre. And there's
Yes, and
some
Beyonce is coming to claim it back. Thanks. She's
Renaissance,
coming to
guys.
claim it. Yeah, she's coming
Renaissance.
to
Oh, I
claim
have a
it.
question before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the third Renaissance is named? So the first one was house and dance, reclaiming, right?
100% rock and roll.
That's what. Okay, so but okay, before. All right, so you're
Hundred
okay.
percent, 100%.
I mean,
She's coming back.
based on the
Sh-
theme of one and two, yes, I'm with you. But here's what I want. I get it, but here's what I would. You know what I'd love? Two things I would love that she would do that would still fit, but I do think it's rock and roll. It's
Mhm.
probably going to be rock and roll. I'm with you there. But I would love if she did either gospel or
Right?
went
Mhm.
to deep soul R&B, like went back to her that classic R&B of like the
Mhm.
early to mid 90s. That's
Mhm.
what I would love that, but I'm with you. It's likely based on the themes, Renaissance, right? Renaissance era. It's going to be rock and roll.
Well, and to be quite honest, I don't see her going back to R&B because that's her beginning.
Yeah, she did it already. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah.
It would be nice if she
Yeah.
got back down to when she was that young girl in, Destiny's Child, but she did that, right? So
Yeah.
I don't see her going back there quite yet.
Or even soul, even if it's like not R&B, but if she did
Neo
not
soul, I can see her doing.
not neo soul, like traditional 70s soul, like
Oh,
Marvin
okay,
Gaye.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that too. I think 100% for me is going to be rock and roll
Yeah, I'm with
because
you. Yeah.
I feel, Little
Mm.
Richard,
Oh yeah.
that type of era. Like I feel her zoning in to that era
Yeah.
where Little Richard started his career.
And if it,
Because
mhm.
Little Richard really is the beginning of rock and roll for
Oh
me,
yes.
from my perspective. I mean, there
Hmm.
could have been people before him that I just don't know of. I'm not well faceted with, and I'm sure that Beyonce, if she does go that route, she will give
Yeah.
us a little bit of a history lesson on that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she will. But I feel like Beyonce is tapping into industries that not only did we start,
Mm.
right, but that we've been shunned in.
Yes, you said, Kim. You got right to the essence. Exactly. Yes.
We've been
Yeah.
shunned in, right? Because country music, I don't know, these white people came in, they infiltrated, they took over, they made Elvis the face of it, and then that was that. And we haven't been able to penetrate that genre in a very
Mm.
long time.
Mm.
Very long time. And it's to the point now where, sorry, I'm gonna put it on blast. Some of these white people out here are vexed to fuck that she has made a country song. Okay, like they're vexed as shit. Like they don't want to play it on the radio.
Yep.
All of this stuff. Okay, trying to say, oh, she's not country. No, no, that's definitely a country song.
It's
Definitely.
intentionally country.
And it has all the essence of a country song. So I don't even know what we're doing right there. But I feel like I don't know when it started.
Mhm.
I don't know what album it started with,
I'll tell
but
you, Lemonade, Daddy's Lessons. That's the exact song.
okay, shoot. But it started there. No, for real, for real. I feel like she just wants to defy the music industry, like
Yeah, at
altogether,
this stage, yes, yeah,
and she can,
she can.
and she can. Yes, she can, because like she's Beyonce.
And it's not and it's not just that. If you think about
No,
it, like
I say the reason why I say it that way is because
Mhm.
there hasn't been many talent that could match her work ethic, that
Yeah,
could match her talent, that could match her drive.
yeah, it's a Virgo. The Virgo perfectionism is
It's
definitely.
just it's unmatchable at this point.
So here's another
Like,
angle to build on that is that like she's been doing this since she's a child, right? And
literally.
so you have conformed and
Yep,
you did the gatekeeping shit. You did
that's
what
right.
was expected of you.
Mhm.
You did everything what they pushed you into, or you whether
That's
you
right.
wanted
Well,
to
you
do it or
got
not.
pigeonholed into. Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
exactly right. So
Mhm.
now that you're most likely have a lot of freedom. Yeah, I'm gonna do in this era where I'm still passionate or I want more passion in what I do. This is what you do when you're bored with what you do. You go outside of your boundaries, right? And I think, and like to your point, I think a lot of this is something she's been thinking about for a while, particularly the country and the dance, the funk, the house
Mhm.
music. I think it felt intentional. Like I saw the build up to that, but now I'm seeing the theme of what this
Mhm.
really Renaissance is all about, and
Mhm.
I'm ready for rock and roll. Well, first let me get that country, but I'm ready for that rock and roll too. So anyway, we went down a wormhole, but I did want to talk about all of that because she. One last question before we move on: do you think Beyonce dropping that music the same night ruined Usher's moment? That was another debate online.
I will say it was divided. It wasn't 100 about Usher.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sorry, it wasn't. Sorry, strategically,
It makes sense.
it was a good choice to make
Hmm.
Beyonce.
But
But
what?
for Usher,
Hmm.
I don't think that was fair
Okay.
because it was
Yeah.
his moment to shine.
Yeah.
It
I can.
was.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
took peace. Even if it's 25% of the attention, she took peace.
She definitely took piece of those. Yeah.
She surely took peace. And not only that, but it's the aftermath that I'm focused on because more people are talking about her new country album that she's going to drop than
Mm,
Usher's performance. So
mm,
even though he did the performance, it's like he got a little bit of a buzz for
mhm,
like half a second. Okay. And then Beyonce just filled in the whole gap. Like the whole, like she just took it over. And
mhm,
I don't really like that. I didn't
mhm.
really like that about what she did. But I mean, in terms of strategy, like when else would you drop this?
Well,
If you want all eyes on you at this moment,
what you know what have been a good alternative. Remember the Grammys night when she was dressed in theme? Everybody was
but she
wondering.
did to kind of technically she started it out.
It started, yeah. So that's the thing. So some people, like people who are really like the
No,
stands.
Beyonce had a bigger movement to make that night, okay? She had to
Okay.
walk out that bitch with her man. That's what she had to do. She had to make her man get the award, top about her a little bit on stage, and then they had to dip. So
Mm,
she couldn't do it then, but she started the chatter. She started
mm.
the chatter, right? It's just unfortunate that, you know, on his, this is his night, and
Okay,
she
yeah.
kind of
I have to say, I don't want to think, but I have to say, she did definitely take some shine off of Usher. That's for
yeah,
sure.
even if it's 25%, even if it's 50%, at the time, but
Hmm.
I think where she really stole the show was after, because people are okay. Initially, when you see something, you're looking at the show, you're in the midst of the show. It's afterwards where we'll get
Hmm.
commentary and evaluation of outfits and
Hmm.
what did he do here, and maybe he should have took this song out. So I feel like there's more chatter and more talk about the actual event after the event happens, and that was the space that I felt she took over the most because people were not talking so much
Yes,
about
about him.
Usher.
Mm.
They were talking about, did you hear Beyonce's track? That's why she had the damn cowboy hat on at the
Yep.
damn Grammys. That see? So now we're
Yep.
not talking about Usher. So it's the aftermath, right? So
Yeah, but I mean,
but
Usher,
Usher had his little shine.
he had
Like
his
we're
moment.
not
He had
gonna
his
take
moment,
that from
and
him.
all the amazing successes that happen when you do Super Bowl, where your music gets streamed, all your
Mm-hmm.
hits get streamed. He got all the, what do they call it, return on investments
Sure did.
that Super Bowl performers get. So I mean, maybe it took a little bit, like you said, but he
Mm-hmm.
still got the tangible benefits of performing on the Super Bowl. So we went down a wormhole, but this is a Super Bowl. This is like a big
Yeah.
moment in culture. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. So
It
we'll move
is.
on to Wendy Williams, the Wendy Williams documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, I think, I don't remember if we brought it up when we saw the trailer or not, but so we saw the trailer a while back and we're like, oh, okay, what is this? And we saw
Right.
the clip where Wendy's like, I have no money. And a lot of people in the industry had a concern about this documentary, like Charlemagne and all the celebrities that are in the communications and media world, alongside in that industry, were concerned
Mm-hmm.
that Wendy's being taken advantage of with this documentary. But there's one thing that's clear: she's been taken advantage of. We already done see that in the news and the
Mm-hmm.
media that something's going on here. So I
Oh
didn't need to.
shoot! It didn't
We
even
didn't.
need to get that far. Her damn ex-husband was taking advantage of her.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
she's
but
been taken advantage
well, I
of.
mean,
Like,
to the point of, since where we clearly see that something is wrong with her health or whatever, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
okay,
since the situation, right, since she hasn't like
yeah.
worked or
I'll
whatever,
agree with that. Yeah.
and So, I mean, I was curious because it's like, yeah, there was a lot going on, and no one's really officially said or could say what was going on. It was all
Mhm.
speculation. Is she just doing this to for legal reasons? Blah blah blah. But I think the real alarm came when a conservatorship was put on her, and they took her money hostage, and it was not her family who was overseeing that conservatorship. So that was a big concern. And so
Mhm.
this documentary from Lifetime, who she has an agreement with, I don't know the details of how much what is the details of or how much content she's supposed to provide, but she had an agreement with Lifetime. That's why her movie came out with Lifetime, and now this documentary is coming out, that's kind of going behind the scenes of what she's been going through, and leading up to the launch of the airing of the documentary, which is I think going to go across this weekend. It was announced that she was diagnosed with aphasia and frontal temporal dementia, which conditions can impact personality, communication, according to the Mayo Clinic. And aphasia is what I always was what stood out to me, because I was like, is that what Bruce Willis has? Because I remember a couple of years
Yep.
ago it
Mhm.
was announced, and like he's like literally, it was weird. I was like, this condition is so bad that he has to like stop working and go live with his ex-wife. I guess he didn't have a partner, so he went to go live with his ex-wife and his children. So it's like, oh, it has to be bad if like this is drastic, right?
Right?
And so yeah, I've recently seen videos sometime last year of him, and I was like, I don't even think he can even speak anymore. Within 2 years, he's lost communication. So that is what Wendy
Mm-mm.
has been diagnosed with in last year, 2023, and we're seeing kind of, I guess, that change. I'm not watching the show, but I mean, I saw little clips, or there's like some behind the scenes or whatever, and some people think it's exploitative, and it is. There is
It
something.
is.
But
Mhm.
to me, any documentary is exploitative, right? It's put me. The difference for me is, do you did you have a hand in that? Is that what you want? Is that what Wendy wants? Because the thing is, she's an
Mhm.
executive producer. So my hope is that,
But how do you have someone who's not in their right mind as an
but the
executive
agreement, the
producer?
agreements were made up before, right? Remember when they
No,
did the
I
movie?
understand, but
Hmm.
but
But legally,
with her sickness, it was just diagnosed, but it was progressively happening.
yeah, but
So
still,
how
I
do you
I think if
like
you made an agreement 2 or 3 years ago that I was executive producer, no matter what my condition, it should stay the same. I think
no, and
legally,
I
yeah.
agree to. I do, but that's where I feel like
An
it is
executive producer
very.
is just is just a title. They don't really do anything most of the time.
No, they do and they don't,
Mhm.
especially when it's a biography about herself. So
Yeah.
she'd have a little bit more say as an executive producer. However,
Mhm.
she's not in her right mind, so you can pitch any idea to her and she might just be like, "Yeah, that's great." Like she's not in her right mind, you know, to even hold that title. But I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to
Mhm.
watch
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
I do feel like she did say at one point when she did have her faculties that she wanted to tell her own story,
Mhm.
right? And that's great and all. I just can't watch it.
That's
I
fine.
just
Yeah.
can't watch it. I don't want to see her demise. Like I know it's happening. I'm not
Yeah,
oblivious
we've
to it
already seen
happening.
it. Yeah, we've seen it
It's
already.
going on in front of me. I don't need a full-fledged movie to
Mhm.
show me that. And I just wish her well, and I wish that, her family, while she's still very much cognitive and can remember them, that she, gets to spend time and make memories as much as she can before she no longer remembers them,
Mhm.
because that's the inevitable of these diseases that she has been diagnosed with. I feel very bad for Wendy Williams, but I will say that she is a pioneer in her field, in her communications. I find the irony, there's so much irony here. The one thing that you're known to be is to communicate, and that's taken away from you. So I just find that to be kind of sad. And I don't know the woman that they put in front of us right now. I don't know this woman. I find it hard just sitting back and watching someone deteriorate in front of me and not being able to do anything. I think the very least that I can do is not promote, I don't know, monopolizing off of this woman's demise. Like, I find it very difficult to do that.
Yeah,
So,
here's something that I find concerning with this. It's a conservatorship. There's something about that that's always, we saw with the Britney thing what that means and what that system can do to take advantage of somebody's supposed illness. Like, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on, or whatever. I do think that Wendy has some kind of cognitive condition, right? I'm not thinking that, because some people are like, oh, they're drugging her, they're doing this, they're doing that. I think that if we have an official diagnosis from a clinic, I don't know. You know what? You never know. But another thing is, her niece, who is the
mhm,
only other the family that's pretty close to her, and is in the documentary, and she's also a co-executive producer on the documentary, and she's also the one kind of doing like the media stuff for the documentary. What I find concerning is that she says that she's under the court ordered guardianship, and her family does not know the location or any information regarding the facility where Williams is getting treated, nor do they have access to call Wendy Williams directly. Okay. And then it said a representative from the care team declined to comment on the documentary, and it is unclear whether the team is working with Williams' guardian, whoever this guardianship person is. But her niece is saying that when she does talk to her, so Wendy can call her. So if she does call her, she says she sounds good. But she's been in the care facility for a few months, but she herself can't call to check in. It's only if.
no,
And all of this is all, to me, this is all shady and dark. And I think why I appreciate the documentary, while it, of course, I agree it is exploitative and it's showing the downfall, and I agree with you, I'm not going to watch it. It does put a spotlight on that this woman is vulnerable, and
mhm,
whoever these people who are guarding her money, her family is not involved. And I think it's good to have a clear distinction, to know that we need a magnifying glass on who the hell is this guardianship. Who are these people that are
right?
lording over Wendy's situation?
Yeah,
I don't
I'd
like it.
love to know. I'd love to know right along with her family because they don't seem to know. But one thing that I find kind of suspicious, not suspicious, but I find very strange, is that her son is like, I feel like he should be more involved. You know what
but
I
he's
mean?
but but just like her niece, they don't have the
What
family
you mean you don't
include,
have access? This is your mother.
right?
Like,
He doesn't have
I'm having a
access.
hard time understanding that part.
No, but that's what's going on. The same situation that the niece is in, the son is in. They don't have access. Well, they not have access to Wendy. Only when she calls her. They don't
Like,
even know
what?
the care facility that they put her in,
I'm sorry. And you know what? Okay, maybe I'm wrong here, people. But let me tell you something. No one's going to hide my mother from me.
right?
Period. I don't care if I have to track her down. I don't care if I have to get a detective. I don't care if I need to bang on every flipping door. I'm finding my mother. Period. So I just have a hard time.
But isn't he like only like he's 20? What? He's
He's old
22.
enough to say, huh, "Where's my mother?" He's old enough to say that.
Of course,
He's
yeah.
not
He's
a
with.
baby. He's a big
He's
man. He's a grown ass man. He's in his 20s. Like, what
Yeah,
we
but
doing?
you have to think. I don't know. I'm sure he's had a sheltered life. Of course, he's had a sheltered life, and I think that remember, this woman, this girl that is her niece is kind of like a daughter to her, because so I feel like this woman is more mature and able. She's the voice of the Williams
And
family,
she can't find her.
and she's protecting her. I think I think there's a lot of legal things going on. I don't think they don't know where she is, but I don't think
Right.
they're allowed to
Mhm.
have access. Like, they can only say what they can say, because I do
Mhm.
think she's controlling. Not she's mincing her words. Like, she's using her words very
Mhm.
careful. It's like you're saying
Mhm.
something without saying. And what I'm hearing
Mhm.
is these people have a little too much control over my auntie. but she can't
Right.
say it.
I'm hearing that, but
Mm,
what I'm feeling is that's my damn family. Okay,
mm,
I don't give a shit what none of y'all want to say.
okay.
I don't care unless you arrest me and throw me in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, nah, fam. This is my blood, right? So you're not gonna tell me about my blood. I don't care what survivor, whoever. Listen, we're gonna fight this. I need to know. Maybe that's the passionate side of me.
Yeah. No, I
Maybe
think.
that's why I'm the passionate heart. But
Mm,
yeah, when it comes to my family, nah, there's nobody that's gonna hold me back or have me in any
yeah.
sort of way.
The
Nah,
only thing
fam.
I'm wondering is, I'm like, what is muzzling them? There's something muzzling them. I think
Okay,
there's.
well, let me drop the mic so I can know where my auntie is. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I know I can understand the
Mhm.
legalities. I
Yes,
get
that's
it.
what I'm saying. There's
Totally
something is
understand it.
containing them for not saying something,
Right.
saying it direct outright. Like, you know what I mean?
But there comes a point, right, where you got to fight fire with fire.
Mm.
So
I
one
mean,
thing I
I feel like
find,
this documentary is kind of a little bit of their fire.
not if it's portraying her in such a bad light.
Yeah, but it's more questioning what is going on the business side. The business side is what has all
Right.
this ridiculous control. Why do they have
Right.
all the control and the
Right.
family doesn't?
Right.
Sometimes it's like I think that's where it fits as
Exposure. Yeah,
exposure.
no.
It's bad. It's, yes, it may not look good and it's ugly, but it's
Mhm.
also,
Mhm.
it's putting a light on her and her
Mhm.
family, but it's putting a light on those other blood clot people. Where the hell are they and what the
Mhm.
hell are they doing?
But if you're producing this movie with Lifetime, really?
Yeah, well.
Lifetime could chop and edit that shit right out. Like I'm just saying that I don't know
Oh,
what's holding them back. I
one
don't know
more
what's holding
thing
them back.
we didn't bring up. The Guardian, whoever the name, I can't remember. Oh shit, I don't have her name here. Unfortunately, it's a white woman.
Mhm.
The Guardian tried to put a stop to the documentary airing. They put some type of stop thing. It was a sealed document, so it wasn't made public how or why they're trying to get.
There's a team of people behind this that is trying to
Yeah,
sabotage and whatever Wendy has built.
yeah, of
And
course. That's what I hate. And so then
I'm not.
again, that's why I keep on
That's why
coming.
I'm boycotting it. I'm not watching that shit.
That's why
Period.
I'm keeping coming back to the fact that this this documentary is actually more of a good thing than a bad thing, in that it is again showing the world that there's a big question mark on these people around Wendy that are not her family. That is very, very important. So we all know, we know, and we have names, some names, but also now
Mhm.
this woman who tried to stop it from getting aired. See, that's a problem. Why do you want it not to be aired? Because what, we're exposing all the people you hired for Wendy and that are around her.
Mhm. Could
So
be.
that's what's going on. It's sad. Here's another thing, because last thing before we move on, first and foremost, when this was announced, her diagnosis was announced this week. The repeated thing is like, this is her karma. This is her karma. People have said that
No,
many
I'm not gonna
times
do
when it
that.
happened
I'm
to her
not gonna do that.
husband
Mm-mm.
and all
Mm-mm.
that. I'm not
Mm-mm.
gonna say that,
She's a human
because
being, people.
yeah, and a lot of people have done questionable things in their life. I don't think anybody deserves this type of destruction. But somebody said something that I think you kind of danced around when we were talking about before. And again, I'm not prophesizing this. I'm not that, but there's another
Mhm.
angle, because we're both spiritual people.
Mhm.
But somebody said this is because, like, you remember, you brought up what the irony that this woman is iconic and
Mhm.
and infamous, and built her empire based on communications,
That's
the
right.
communication world, radio to TV to everything in between, right? And now she's diagnosed with a condition that is taking her the power of language from her.
Her
Not only
voice.
not even
Mhm.
speaking it, but even understanding it.
Her voice. Her total voice is gone. It's
Even
gonna
her
be gone.
understand, not even voice, just even her understanding of it, even thinking in that way of
Mhm.
language.
Mhm. Mhm.
And somebody made this, is like, this is like, it's so almost like a spirit, like a spiritual warfare, somebody said. And that I was like,
Well, God doesn't like gossiping.
and not from God. God, I
No,
think.
but what I'm saying is that why I say that is because
Mm,
God doesn't like when people gossip. And
mhm,
so some people, some Christians might
mhm,
say that she's reaping what she sowed and God is putting a silence to her because everything is done for a reason.
mhm.
Everything is done for a reason. We don't understand it. We can speculate, we can have conversation and dialect
Yeah,
about it, but we
yeah.
really don't understand it
No, we
because we're
don't.
not we're,
And
we're
again,
not
I'm just.
God, right?
I don't. I'm not. I don't believe that. I'm just repeating what
Well,
somebody
I
said.
don't know why that,
Exactly. I don't.
right?
That again. I'm just making a
So
note.
for
I don't
me,
believe
when
that.
I see things like this happen, when I see things like this happen, right? I have to ask as a Christian, like why would God use take her voice from her? Because that's what it is. He's taking her voice from her. Her ability to be cognitive, to
Hmm,
have a clear, concise conversation with people. This is her foundation. This is what Wendy Williams is a voice. That's what she is. And she was a very loud voice and a voice that was fearless and brave and willing to take on risk and say things that people are thinking but never
mm,
would say.
mm.
So I have to ask myself, why would God remove her voice from her? Right? And I don't know what battles she's had, but let me tell you, that white stuff, that cocaine, the cocaine,
Mm.
it does some serious nonsense to your body. It damages you. And she was doing it daily along with alcohol. So there's a variety of reasons as to why this is happening. But I think, from a higher standpoint, when I think about God and his infinite mercies, there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing and why this is happening to Wendy. I don't
But
know
now
why.
who's to say I'm not
Don't
going
know
to bring
why.
God. I don't want to bring God into it because it's not just God that can inflict you with things, right?
No, but
So,
I don't think that necessarily God inflicts to harm, but to
but what
teach.
I'm saying again, there's not just God can inflict somebody with something. Do you understand what I'm saying? That it could come from other powers and principalities. You get that?
Oh yes,
Oh,
definitely,
okay.
and oh yes, definitely. Oh, of course, right.
So that's
But
kind
I
of
feel
where
like everything is under God's umbrella. Like
yes,
even the
yes,
even the evil,
I agree with that.
right?
Yes.
So even the evil is under God's
But if
umbrella
you
in
don't
His
talk to God and if you're
right.
not spiritually
No, I
spiritually
and
powered up.
right, and I don't really want to go deep into that
Yeah,
realm,
yeah. Mm.
but there's a reason for all of what's happening and why it's happening the way it's happened. So I pray for both Wendy and her family,
Yes, that's it.
and
That's
that
all
they
it
get
comes
the
down to.
answers that they need and that they stop whatever kind of monkey business is going on,
Yeah.
and that before she is totally unrecognizable to the world, that we save the legacy that
Mm.
she's built.
We need to. We need to. Black Howard Stern. That's the real Black Howard Stern as far as
That
I'm concerned.
is okay, Mr. Stern. You have some competition over, yes sir, but
Yeah, so
let's move
prayers
on.
up. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
move
prayers
on.
up for her and her family. I hope
We
they get
talked.
the answers. I hope they
Yeah,
get the answers. I do.
we
Hmm.
talked a lot about everything here. We're just throwing things. These are things that are just out there, but at the end of the day, this is a black icon, and we're praying for healing and at least peace with her and her family, and remove those who are not supposed to be there and the vultures. But
That's right.
we'll
That's
see how
right.
that goes. All
That's right.
right, see, okay, some foolishness from a foolish
Let
woman.
this blasted. Listen,
So Miss Tiffany Haddish,
I need for her.
she
Please, Lord Jesus.
she's poor thing. Well, Tiffany has been coming under fire again, because
What's
she
new?
decided to go. She could have went to Israel quietly, but she decided to announce on her Instagram that she is going to visit Israel to see what's really going on. I
For
think
her
that's
own
how
eyes.
with her. Sorry,
Hmm.
that's exactly what that's I interpreted that with her own eyes. She wants to see with her own eyes, and so she did a video where she was on the plane and sipping her champagne
Hmm.
and saying she's gonna go see women and children get murdered. I mean,
Like,
or like no, she's not going to see that. Clearly, she's going on the safe side. And
oh no, she said she wants to go to Gaza. She
but did
wants to go.
she? I don't think so.
I don't know if she can. I don't know if she can get there, but
But so
because
okay, so she
they don't
went.
care about no Tiffany Haddish over there. You understand? Okay,
No, 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 no.
they
But
don't care about that.
something that I need to context I'm going to lay before I move on is that
Mhm.
Tiffany Haddish is Jewish and identify sorry let me use that word identifies as Jewish, and that is her cultural background from her father's side, right? And but Eritrean, East African,
Mhm.
Jewish, not
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a difference, but okay, let's just say that. And so and she has a lot of celebrity friends that are Jewish, and so I think maybe in her eyes, I'm just trying to. I think this is fucked up, but I'm just trying to like see some rationale in this, right? And
Mhm.
I think she probably has a lot of people in her ear on that side where they're like, I don't know, the rhetoric
Mhm.
on that side. So that's what she's hearing, and then you're hearing the other side where we're seeing lots of like what's going on, the
Mhm.
complete annihilation of the
Pretty
fucking
much.
Gaza population, right? She took it upon herself to do this. And of course, everybody was like, bitch, what?
And I want to focus less on the two different sides of
Mm-hmm.
Israel
And more,
and
yeah, yeah.
Gaza, and I want to focus more on her foolery. Okay,
Okay.
because Tiffany's foolery, she didn't just say that okay, first of all, she didn't come across as though she's going on this journalistic hunt for the
No, yes,
truth
yes.
and
Thank
all
you.
this shit. No,
Thank
she
you.
acted like, I'm going down there to find me a man.
She
Okay,
said
because
that.
my man, my man, my man. Yeah, okay, girl, get it together. Tiffany, please get it together. I need you to focus less on peeing and focus more on the issues that are at stake. You are going down into a war zone. You
Mm,
are going into literally a war zone. And you think that this is prime time news for us, like that.
mm,
Oh, I'm going and I'm nah, fam, you're going as a joke. This is a joke, okay? This doesn't seem like you're going there for any real purpose other than to say I went,
mm.
okay, and to laugh and make jokes and giggle
Yes,
about. This
yeah,
is
that's
not a funny situation,
exactly.
Tiffany,
Mm,
okay? And your sense of humor seems more and more to me non-apparent, because I don't understand how this is funny to you. This is
yeah.
not funny. To make jokes, to make light of, it's not funny. Yes, I understand you're Jewish, okay? Right? From extension, from your dad, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you have been a practicing Jewish woman for years and years to come. No,
Yeah.
it's not. Like, let's call a spade a spade. You're going there, like you said, to find a man. That's what you said. And because it looked a little, desperate, you added the rest of the sauce to it, that you wanted to go and see for your own eyes and my own eyes. What the hell are you going down there to see, girl? People
Right.
die.
But
That's
so
what you're going there to see.
I saw a video, and the tour.
Miss me with it,
She's in a tour
please.
bus in Israel, and here's what I really think is going on. Like, we don't want to do the politics, but there is some politics here in that the van she was in where they're doing a tour, there was two other influencers that she had her video on them. And so they're inviting people, and the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, are tweeting all this stuff with her and other people who are on this trip. So that's when I was like, oh, right? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's all
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to your point, the issue and why we're actually bringing this up is just the light. Like, we can't take you seriously in that you're trying to be fair in your position, and then you're making light of it with all these like oh, I'm going to find a man, or this and that, or I'm just all these things that she's saying in this very light way. I think if she came on there with some level of gravity of what's really going on and where she's
Right?
going,
Can
maybe I could keep a straight face. But now I'm just like, this is pure foolishness. And
I ask a question? When
yeah,
did desperation in a black woman become entertaining?
oh come on, Kim. You said when you said in a black woman, that it's been the entertainment.
No, but Tiffany, no, no. Like, okay, I've seen it where people try to portray black women as being desperate as entertainment. But this is taking it to a whole new level, Tiffany. I mean, your desperation is it reeks. Like it
But I
just
think that man
stinks.
looking for a man thing was just trying to make light of the situation. I didn't think she was
But that's
serious.
what she led with.
That's exactly agree, but she's trying to make, she knows there's gonna be, like, again, the tone of the video, that whole
Why are we
video,
talking about going to Israel for a man? Like I don't
right?
even I can't with what is going on there and the political environment that they're dealing with over there.
Mm,
To
mm,
even mix those two things in a sentence shows the
yeah. So
desperation. Like
some of
it's
the
so disgusting. Like I can't wrap my brain around that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I have a hard time with that because I
So the
just feel
comment,
like her desperateness was just so blatantly obvious and she's trying to make light of it and it's not funny.
I don't know. But so the comment that caught my attention before I move
Mhm.
on, which kind of encapsulates my issue with the thing, again, that's her identity. If you want to do that, do that. But come on, have some level of seriousness about why you're doing.
Saying.
But somebody commented under the post, sipping on a mimosa on your way to go see a genocide is insane. And that's my position on
Thank
the whole
you.
thing.
I love that. That was well said. Bravo. Yes, that was well said because that's exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So we'll move on. So another thing, so Kelly Rowland, so I'll shout her out. We're going to talk about this whole stupidness that's been following her with
Mhm.
the dressing room situation, but her Tyler Perry movies on Netflix, and Twitter is in shambles, of course. Anytime Tyler Perry
Mhm.
releases a movie, Black Twitter is hilarious and just tearing that shit up left, right, and
Mhm.
center. But I will say, a lot of people said that her and her co-star Trevante Rhodes, who's very chocolatey,
Hmm.
have a sex scene that is worthy of watching. So I guess people are putting it out there. There's something in there worth watching. And another thing you're saying,
Mm-mm.
another thing you're saying is, yeah, the script is bad, but Kelly and Trevante are acting their asses off. So, and I know because Trevante is a good actor. He's from Moonlight, and
Mhm.
Kelly, she's pretty solid. I haven't seen her in a. I believe she could be solid. I think she's supposed to play Donna Summers, or that's what we're petitioning for her to
Oh,
play Donna
really?
Summers. So all that has been good news. So it's a Tyler Perry movie, but at least the leads are doing their best what they can with what they have.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I believe that's why she was supposed to go on the morning show and
Mhm.
promote that movie Mia Culpa, and then all this nonsense happened. So pretty
Mhm.
much, Kelly Rowland was to have an appearance on the Today Show as well as help them host the show sometime this week, and everybody was talking about that she walked off the Today set after her segment because her dressing room was too small, and everybody was trying to make her look like the bad guy and all of this. But this is why context matters,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
in a social media world, it clearly doesn't matter. But thank God,
Mhm.
I'm still cognitive, where I leave room to judge. I need to hear the full story from at least two or three sources before I put out
Mhm.
my judgment, right? And so the story is that she was supposed to host after her segment, help co-host the show with everybody else. And of
Mhm.
course, when you do these things as a celebrity, you give them your rider, and which your rider is your things that you need in the dressing room and any requirements for that situation as the talent. right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so she appeared, and because maybe I think the agreement was for her to have a larger room because she has a lot of people with her. Because you have makeup artists, stylists, who else ever else is in that little those people who are with her for this promotion tour, right?
Mhm.
So she came. They had her in the smallest. There's some small room, and the big room was given to a guest, mind you, which was Jennifer Lopez.
Mhm.
I don't think she left because the room was given to Jennifer Lopez. The bigger room was. She just wanted a bigger room. I don't care who, what, or why. I needed to see a bigger room. That's it. And so
Right?
the room was my whatever
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
whatever was in that agreement was not met. And so I'm
Mhm.
not gonna cause a scene. I'm just gonna leave.
Simple. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know.
Well, I was hearing that it wasn't just the dressing room, but like, I think maybe a week or two before that, she went on the Breakfast Club. Was it the Breakfast Club? No, it was with Tigger.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
And she did an interview, and again, everybody, this poor woman, Kelly, she has her own career. She is her own person, okay? She has her own identity. And for some particular reason, everywhere she goes, and it's true because you can go back and look, go
Mm-hmm.
do your interneting, and you'll find out that every time she has an interview, she's asked about Beyonce. And I feel like it
It's
just mounted so high. And now I'm in this dressing room. Would you have given this to Beyonce? No, no, you wouldn't have. But why the hell am I here? I'm gonna leave.
and
You
you know
know,
what I
and I don't wrong her. I
no.
think, you know what, Kelly, over the years, she has been super, super good about standing in Beyonce's shadow.
Yeah, she has been gracious
She's
about it.
been so gracious because she's, said to herself, no, I'm going to make my own career. They're going to see me for who I am. I won't stay in the shadow forever. But I'm sorry, darling. She's gotten to the point where she's like, listen, I think I might just stay in this woman's shadow forever unless I say something, unless I
Yeah.
do something. And she did. And this is what it was. For Kelly, walking off of the show is nothing.
Mm.
It's not going to make or break her. It really won't. Because at the end of the day, Kelly is still a class act. And if you look at her track record, this is not in her character. However, you can only poke the bear for so long before the bear turns around and growls at you. So I think to this point now where she's like, listen, I want to talk about my career. I want you to treat me as though I were Beyonce. I should not have this small ass, dinky ass little room. Give me what you would give Beyonce. Is this what you'd give Beyonce? No, you wouldn't. Okay? And I'm here to talk about me. Here to talk about my career, what I'm doing. Beyonce's doing her own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
She's
heard that
tired
was
of
an
being in the shadow. It came to head, and unfortunately, she had to go. She's like, I had to go. I'm bye. And she left. And you know what? To be quite honest, I'm actually kind of proud of her.
Yeah, but you know what's fun? I was just reading the article from TMZ, and they said the reports claim that Kelly actually has a stipulation for her interviews that Beyonce and Destiny Child into questions are off limits, and that when she did her segment, in addition during that same segment, there were some pepperings. There was some pepperings of questions on that, but it wasn't like she didn't clap back during the interview. Similar, and contrary to the one that we saw with Tigger, that clip that we're seeing with Tigger or whatever. But I think, yeah, exactly. That's a way to respectfully do it. You don't want to have an awkward moment. It's like, listen, I'm here to promote this movie. Let's talk about this movie and what I'm doing. And even if you want to do a throwback to say, I mean, I don't know, but if it's in the
She had
thing,
to make a strong stance, Jeanette, and
that's
she did
and she did.
classfully.
She did it classy, and people are just can keep on pushing the line, and it's like, listen, what are we doing here? So what I do want to say that the positive, the rainbow at the end of the
Hmm.
storm was that she went on Sherry Shepherd a couple
Mhm.
days after, and it was it was kind of shady, but she had an amazing time. They had some behind the scenes where they showed her in the dressing room. It was like beautiful and like
Oh my
decked
gosh,
out, and I
so
was like,
shade.
Sherry.
The shade
I
of
was
it
like,
all.
the Sherry Shepherd show was really coming for their competition or whatever. So it was cute. And, at the end of the day, Kelly has been, like we said, she's very gracious and she's unproblematic. And even I get cringe. Like, I don't want to know that. I know that if those girls are going to do anything, they would never tell us anyway. They're going to pop up and do it. So those questions, even if that was in the books, you'll never get a preview or a hint of it. It's just one of those things that would just happen. So even to me, sometimes I see these interviews and I cringe inside. I'm like, damn, you guys are still asking this girl about that? Like
Right?
she even has any control over that? She ain't. It's all up to Beyonce. Okay, do you
I
she
don't
need to be
I
asking?
never could understand. She's coming on here as a solo artist. Why are you
Mhm,
talking about Beyonce? Like, I think, cuz okay, if you were, and I don't like making this a race thing, but I
mhm.
just need to draw a comparison for a second.
Okay.
If we were to take one of, our Taylor Swift, okay, and say she was in a group before she was Taylor Swift, do you think that they would continue to ask one of her group members about her? Or would they ask Taylor Swift about her? Because they do it to Beyonce too. Every now and
Mm.
then
Yeah, they do.
they ask Beyonce about Kelly and vice versa. But I find that they do it more to Kelly because the truth is that Beyonce is the bigger star of the two of them. That, and
Yeah,
it was pushed from when they were in Destiny's
yeah, yeah,
Child. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
her
yeah.
father hooked her up, okay? He made sure that his daughter was that lead singer. He made sure that she was the one that was reclaimed. And so I asked this because would they be doing this to somebody else that wasn't black, that wasn't a dark skinned black woman? Because they seem to do it to her a lot from the time this
Here's where
girl has come on the scene as a solo artist. They've always done it. Every You could go back in time to Destiny's Child just after they broke apart and they kind of did their own thing. They constantly came after Kelly. They didn't ask as much to Latoya Luckett. They didn't do it to her. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why they're always on her ass about Beyonce. They start the interviews with talking about Beyonce. They end the interviews with talking about Beyonce. There's very little publicity that is pushed the same about her own solo projects. Like, I just don't understand why they do this to this woman. Why? Is it because she's been graceful in the past? Like, I don't understand why they do this to her, but they do it a lot, and they've done it for decades,
yeah, and I do
literally.
think she needs to, like, to your point, and looks like she started, like, literally put that as a stipulation in your interview so they get the message. So if they overstep, it's kind of like you just kind of like dance over it and move on. And she's a classy girl, so she's never gonna make it uncomfortable, but maybe she might need to make it uncomfortable. I don't
Well, when
know.
she was on the Tigger show and
Mm,
Tigger started to ask and all this stupid shit, she's like, "Well, you're gonna have to ask Beyonce. I'm
done.
here
Yeah,
for
done.
this, right?"
Okay.
But that was the first time she's gotten that, like, bold
It's
with the
unfortunate that she's gonna have to do
right.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
Because,
but
like, to your point,
how
I'm gonna
long this
say,
girl's been a solo act? Like, come on. What are we
I
talking
know
about
it's
here? She's been
ridiculous.
solo for
That's
decades.
just to tell you, mainstream media is just like shit. But
Shit.
I would say in terms of the racial line, I think the difference between, I think they would still ask, but I think the difference is if a star in our on the white side, somebody who's white who was in that same scenario, explicitly went out of their way to let people know, I don't think they'd get challenged as much. That's
They
where I
wouldn't
think
have gotten
they wouldn't get,
challenged.
the line stepping wouldn't be happening.
No, they wouldn't even bother like putting it anywhere in the interview at all.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have mentioned it at all. Especially if it was explicitly told, I don't want to talk nothing about her.
But
They
here's
wouldn't
my
have done
issue.
it.
So it happened, and here's what I don't
Poor
appreciate,
Kelly.
that a lot of people are trying to make it seem like she's a diva. like people read the story, like Bethany Frankel said, like tried to blast her or something. Oh, you could have had a dressing room, like we're not
You
all.
know what,
This is
Bethany? I
about
need you
people
not to speak
habitual,
about black topics. Thank
right?
you.
But we're talking about habitual line stepping with this woman in particular. Let me not even talk about any other black women in the entertainment
Mm-hmm.
industry, but because we're in a moment, right? We had a whole episode on workout on this whole hot black woman in Hollywood and compensation and Taraji and everything in
Mm-hmm.
between. So it's like people are seeing this, and you have to stand up for yourself, and that's where I'm like, Kelly, thank you. You're a quiet girl, and you usually just take the punches, but no, you don't need to take the punches. You've done enough. You've proven yourself, young lady. Well, not young lady, but woman. And
And I
yeah,
think it's because she's stepping into a different realm.
yes,
She's
she's
stepped
getting in
like,
her
can you
acting bag.
imagine all this time? She's never gotten into the acting at all. Okay, all this time,
I think
and
she's done
now
a couple
she's
of small roles. She's done some
very
small roles.
small,
Yeah, yeah,
almost insignificant, kind of,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to the grand scheme of things. But
hmm
this is a role where she is really stepping out of her comfort zone. She's
hmm
really, you know, excelling her career into a whole different area of
hmm
entertainment. And all you want to talk about is not even the movie. You want to
No,
talk
sir,
about
that's not
my
allowed.
friend? Are you for
Mm-mm.
real? So all this hard work that I'm putting in to step out into a different area of entertainment. This is the thanks I get, like, for real? And so, you know what, Kelly, I feel really bad for you, and I have for many, many years, because I'm sorry to say this, darling, but you definitely are in Beyonce's shadow.
Yes,
You can come out of it. You know, I see you for who you are. I
yeah,
can see you
exactly.
beyond Destiny's Child and Beyonce, and I can see you as an artist, and I think that you're awesome. I think you're an awesome artist. I think you're very talented. You do go under the radar. A lot of people don't really realize how good you are, but you are good.
I think that's intentional too.
Well, maybe, maybe, maybe. I think it was intentional of Beyonce's father.
Oh yeah, from the
I
beginning. But I
From
mean
the
for
very
her,
beginning.
I mean with how she's been right now. I think she's intentionally. I'm not trying to say she's not trying to be in anybody's shadow, but I mean she's
Right,
been more private. She's more intentional with the
right.
project she does, how she presents herself in the public. I don't think she wants something this grandeur, but she does obviously want some type of longevity, and she's carving that out now, I guess, in the acting
Yes,
world. And so we'll see. So
yes. Let's
yeah,
move
so we're
on.
gonna move on to
You'll be
music
okay,
news.
Kelly. Hold up your head, girl.
Yeah, yeah. We know, black
Mm-hmm.
women know. We got you, girl.
So does Sherry Shepherd, because Sherry, you're too damn petty. I
Her
can't with
team is
you.
funny. So I was gonna do a quick review. Where time is kind of catching up on us, but I think I'm gonna do
Yes.
really quick. So Kanye and Ty Dolla Sign had an album released called Vultures One. I mean, there was a lot of rollout. There was a lot of delays
Mm-hmm.
in it coming out and all of that. But anyway, he came out with it. I Here's what I'll say. It's it's actually a solid album, and it's a combination album. Like, sorry, I don't know what you call it when you a duo album where there's a
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. So
Mm-hmm.
collaboration albums are never like, well, I hate to say the name that we can't. The one that he did with Jay-Z was actually pretty brilliant, and
Mm-hmm.
the one that Jay-Z did with R. Kelly, hate to say it, was pretty brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
collaboration albums generally are usually just okay. They're like solid, but they're never like,
Yeah.
oh, that's their best album of either artist. It's never that way,
Right.
because as
Right.
an artist, you want to hold your best stuff for you alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just generally say the music is sonically good, very good
Mm-hmm.
actually. And Kanye West is still in his producer king bag. No one
Mm-hmm.
can chat to him there. The raps and the songs are, listen, they're good. They're just a good listen. It's not my best,
Mm-hmm.
it's not my favorite album from him, but I was actually surprised that I actually really, it's a good listen. Let me just put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And so there's some songs, there's some themes here. Like we have the one that he has with his daughter, Talk with. Northwest. It's super cute with I'm Miss Westy, your bestie,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, she's on
And
the Billboard charts. Do you
yeah,
know that?
she got her number one for one of the youngest people to ever a number one Billboard song. So kudos to them on Talking. And later
Yeah,
in
nepotism really works, doesn't it?
oh yeah, but I mean it works in every industry. And
Mhm.
so another highlight is he's talking about a lot of I think his sex addiction issues, which he's talked about, but in the like the
Mhm.
second half, later half of the song, I'm like, oh my god, he's just out here because everybody's talking about the way his wife dresses and like she's barely
Mhm.
clothed and all this, and we're like, is this some type of humiliation? And there's obviously there is some kiki shit going on. That's all I'm gonna say,
Definitely.
and it's highlighted in the music. You'll get hints of it, but he's always dropped hints of his like affliction, if you ask me, as even when he's with
Mhm.
Kim. And another thing is that it's very like there's a lot of like joy in it, like joy in like it's not dark or like hateful. There's like a lot of songs where yeah, he's calling out he has some issues with his wife or whatever, but I think in general there is some like crossover of some of his Donda and his gospel, and that there's still some inspirational stuff in this, even though it's more traditional like explicit hip hop.
Right.
So you know what, solid effort, and actually enjoy it. So that's it for me
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Well, I was mentioning it at the top of the show, but Bob Marley's movie. So on Valentine's Day, Bob Marley's movie came out, and I saw it over the long weekend that we had here in Toronto for Family Day, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really loved the movie. I think the movie honestly came from a different perspective of Bob's activism and his musical genius. It did touch on a little bit about his relationship with Rita Marley, which was his wife. Very, very dedicated wife through their marriage. They were dedicated to each other, to be quite honest. But I was so it was so nice to see them focus on Bob's activism in Jamaica, because at the time, when Bob was at the height of his career, there was a lot of political strife that was going on in Jamaica, and a lot of people were being killed. The different political parties were at war with each other on the actual island, and Bob's music being very political when you think about it, if you really listen to his music, his ability of addressing the times and what's going on, and showing us that we should come together and we should one love, which is a part of the title of the movie. And I think the actor, I do forget his name right now, it's not coming to me, but the
Kingsley Beniri.
thank you. Kingsley, you did an awesome job. I thought you hit it right on the mark. Yes, I understand that you're British, and some people don't like the fact that you're British and they should have found someone from Jamaica. But I thought that you did a really good job in embodying this beautiful artist, which is Bob Marley, and you had his mannerisms down. You can tell that you spent a lot of time around his family, around getting to know who Bob was, and you definitely embodied him. You even took on his personal, how he looks. Like, Bob was maga. He was really skinny. He was a football player, and which soccer in Jamaica, that's what that is. And you were able to show us Bob again, and it was at times there was times in the movie it was almost scary. Like, it was almost like, Jesus, you look a lot like him, and you might want to check and see if you're one of his children. But anywho, no, all seriousness, I think that the movie was great. I think you should all go out and support it. What I was kind of puzzled, because when we went, this is opening weekend,
Mhm.
right? And there wasn't a lot of people in the movie theater. I thought there would have been a lot more people in the movie theater than there was. I
What
thought it
time
would
did
have
you guys go?
9:45.
That's a late watch. Because here's why. No, I agree with what
But
you're
for a
saying.
long weekend on a
I, w-
Saturday, I
I was
didn't
gonna
think it
tell
was
you.
that. Yeah.
Here's what I was gonna say. I was at Town Center, Scarborough Town Center, which is our main one of our main theaters
Mhm.
where we are Saturday evening, and I was like, wait, how come all these black people are coming out of the theater? And then I was like,
Mhm.
oh, They're probably thinking. So that was around 6 o'clock. So I do think people went out, but people were out there. But I like a full theater for the Marley movie. Remember, people aren't watching movies in the theater in general.
They
So
aren't.
they
I
aren't,
will say that.
especially, and then
Yeah.
like a biopic, even less so. So I think unless it's like a big, big, like huge action or fantasy movie, it's just really hard to get people in the theater.
Right. Well, my husband actually mentioned something. He's like, "Do you see where we're at?" And location is important. And I think that
Oh yeah, that too. Okay, yeah, your
where
area.
we're located, the demographics for West Indian people, there aren't a lot. There
Okay.
are a lot more Asian descent people in this
Hmm.
area. And so it was funny because I want to give a quick joke. So while we were in the movie theater, right, there was a group of young kids, you could tell maybe in their teenage years or whatever.
Hmm.
And they're starting, like, in the corner while the movie is going on, they
Hmm.
started trying to speak patois. Like they tried to speak like Bob. But you could tell they're making fun and they're
Hmm.
mimicking, right?
Yeah.
And I never said nothing, because there was a white girl that was right behind me and my husband, and she'd take up and she'd tell all of them little pitney them to hush up. And she's like, "You should have some damn respect. There's people in here, this is their culture. You shouldn't be disgracing or being rude."
Wow.
And it was a white girl that took care of it. And I just turned my head back and popped my popcorn, yes, because I was like, "Okay, girl, take care of them, yeah." And the whole time, my
I'll
husband,
try.
he didn't even turn his head. He didn't even turn his head. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell him the drama, but he's the type of guy that he don't give a shit what's going on around him. You understand what I'm telling you? He's just about me and him, and as long as I'm
Yeah.
good and he's good, he don't care. But he heard the cussing, right? So after the movie was done, I was like, "You see how the white girl took care of?" He's like, I didn't even have to turn around. She took care of that one time. She made sure she put them so far back in their spot that we didn't hear a peep for the rest of the damn movie. And it's true. We didn't hear a damn peep, and she did fix them. And it was nice to see that she had some respect for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's not of the culture, she was respectful of the culture. And so that was
Hmm.
nice. But anyways, all in all, the movie was good. Go out and see it. Go support this black film on this black icon. Please and thanks. I'd
Nice.
love to know what everybody else thinks. So please let us know what you think about this movie. I thought it was a great depiction of Bob from a different aspect. But
Hmm.
anyhow, let's move on, my girl, because time is a ticking. Time
Hmm.
is ticking. And we're going to go into the Black History Month moments.
Hmm.
Yes, and this is where we like to talk about Black history from a positive perspective. And one situation that I saw. So in August of 2023 was the first time that a mother and daughter, Black mother and daughter, Caribbean roots, went up into space.
Hmm.
This is this is a moment in history that has never ever happened before. That both mother and daughter were up in space. And so I just wanted to mention that the young lady, the daughter, her name is Anastasia Myers. She did say that she wants to go into this field of space and going into space, and she's very intrigued. This experience really broadened her horizons, and so I wanted to mention it because, first of all, when they said Caribbean, I was like,
Hmm.
lie, a lie. And so the mother's name is Keisha. What is it? Schiffer,
Hmm.
and the daughter's name is Anastasia Myers. And so this is the first combination ever, the first duo
So how
ever
did they
in
get up there? Was
history.
it on Elon Musk's ship or what? Who did they go up with?
Let me see. I have to double check who they went up with
Yeah, now that
while
you're
we're
saying, I
talking.
recall it, but I think it was one of those like Virgin or one of those like billionaire ships that I saw that I heard about. Now that you're bringing it up, because when you first brought it, it didn't ring a bell, but now that you're saying it, I believe it was like one of those like millionaires ships, but I don't think it was
Yes.
Elon.
No, it wasn't Elon. I'm reading furthermore. So, but it was definitely for. They're saying here that it was a tourist trip.
Oh, it was,
That it
yeah,
was
it was
a.
a Virgin Galactic. So that's Bronson. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so, no, Elon didn't have nothing to do with this because
No, no.
Elon, he wants to save it all for himself. But anywho, yes, and so it was nice to see that these two young ladies were able to go up into space as a mother and daughter duo. I've never heard of that in all of my life, and it's nice to see that they're Caribbean roots. I mean, what else can we ask for? But what is a Black
Yeah.
history moment that you'd like to mention, Jeanette?
So I was going to bring up something a little bit more local in talking about Toronto's Little Jamaica. And Little Jamaica is an area around in Toronto in the Eglinton West area, Eglinton Avenue West area, where it is was historically, particularly from the 1950s up into the 1980s, was the hub of a lot of Jamaican immigrants as the Euro
Mm.
immigrants moved out of the area. It was a new area for Caribbean immigrants into Toronto as they came in. A lot of them came in around that time as domestic workers, helping the more affluent households a little bit outside of the area, like Bayview and other like Northwest and East. So it was a good hub for domestic workers when they came into the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it has also been known historically from the 80s up until not too long ago, where a lot of businesses have flourished with Jamaican business owners, small business owners. So hair stores, barbers, of course, restaurants, jerk, whatever. If you want Jamaican food, people will tell you to go there. I mean, I don't know the quality now in 2024, but it was historically a place where you could go and find anything related to Jamaican culture, even like a Caribbean. There's a little touch of everything in Eglinton West. And so,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, since they have the area has since been gentrified, and they are struggling. Businesses are struggling because of the Eglinton line west. So pretty much
Extension, yeah.
there's a transportation thing going on, construction to expand our subways or whatever, and that construction has pretty much demolished the business because people can't drive there, they can't park there, and of course with the addition of COVID in the last 4 years, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
businesses, Jamaican owned business in particular, had to close their doors, unfortunately. And so Eglinton West is not what it used to be, but historically the roots are still there. I'm sure there's sprinkles of everybody. But yeah, so that was the history of Little Jamaica I wanted to share
And I
with our
remember Little
listeners.
Jamaica as a child. Like my mom, being that she is Jamaican, she wanted her own food, and you couldn't typically get it in a grocery store. And so you would have to go to Little Jamaica to get the food that was of your country. And I remember it. I remember it booming. It was booming when I was a kid. Like a lot of people, that was the place to be. That was the place to be. Everything West Indian was along that route, specifically Jamaican. The food, the culture, the clothes,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, it's sad to see that gentrification, how it just demolishes a whole part of our culture here in Canada, because our parents want to live that on, and it's hard when the one place, you know because of this transportation extension, because of COVID, because of it's not what it used to be. And I
Hmm.
don't I really hope to God that it gets back one day, but I don't think it will ever be what it was when I was a kid. It
No, it
just
won't.
it
But
won't. It just won't be.
one good thing before we move on about little the heritage status, because
Hmm.
I mean it's a unique thing to Canada with a heritage status. But it said in April 2021, Toronto City Council voted to designate Little Jamaica as a Heritage Conservation District understudy. This allows the city's planning department to study and survey the area in order to preserve it under the Ontario Heritage Act. So I like that. That's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, it is a good direction. Yeah.
Considering the gentrification happening now, but this will protect the culture of it, and hopefully we don't lose Little Jamaica and what it means to
All
the culture.
together. I know.
All
It would be
right.
sad to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I guess we're gonna move on into, so those are the Black History moments, and so we're gonna move on into our workouts.
Workout.
Yes, the workout. And this is where, we take time to exercise our hearts and our mental fitness, doing deep dive discussions on topics that are affecting us. And so, one topic that has gone way haywire, I didn't even know this was going on until you brought it to my attention. So, that just goes to show where I've been. But so, there's a TikToker by the name of, is it Reesa Teesa?
I'm saying Risa Tisa, maybe Ressa Tessa, but whatever. Everybody knows who we're talking about at this point.
Reesa Teesa came out with this how many different parts of who the fuck did I marry? Okay. So I haven't had the opportunity of getting too deep into
No, me
details.
neither. Me neither.
And
I can do some
I
setup if
got
you
the
want.
gist. I got the
Okay.
gist. You got took. You got took, girl.
Girl.
But she goes on a rant, a, a few parts of why did she, like, who the hell did she actually marry? She married this guy, finds out he's a scam artist, and their relationship is over, and she's left high and dry with a lot of debt, to say the least. I want to open up the discussion about this saga. You might know more about it than I have. I haven't had a chance to get well versed with it, so I'm going to leave that to you. However, from what I
Hmm.
do know, Lord Jesus, desperation, desperation. It will
Hmm.
have you do some things in these streets that defy all logic. Okay? All logic goes out the door. Because
Hmm.
there was, from the parts that I have heard, she had a whole leap of red flags. Okay?
So
Holy, like a minefield full, okay,
yeah.
I just don't understand. But
Oh girl. So what I'll say is here's like, okay, I'm gonna set up the most basic way. Nobody has time to know everything about this. She did recently come out and say, I don't expect anybody to watch 4 or 5 or whatever amount of hours it is. I did this so you could consume it as an audio book. So I'll wait. If anybody puts this in audio form or podcast form, I will listen. But
mm-hmm,
until then, I'm just going to go with the cliff notes that I've gotten from people who have summarized it and the intro video that I did watch from her. So essentially, here and I want to get to the heart of why I think this woman got took, why it was so easier for her to get took, and it comes into
mm-hmm,
how she met this man. She met
mm-hmm.
this man on a Facebook dating app, which I've heard of from a lot of people is trash. I would think it would be better because it's Facebook, but
Right,
there's some
mm-hmm.
like kind of controls and connections. I don't know. I just feel like if you have access to somebody's social media, you have better access to who that person is, but I don't know. Anyway, she met him on a dating app and they set up their date. And the first date that she was supposed to go meet him, on her way to the restaurant, her tire pops on her and she has to go pull over to the station, and she calls him to let him know that what had happened. And he comes after hearing that. Most people would be like, "Oh, that sucks," da 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 da, and be like, leave it at that. But he
Yeah,
actually asked her where she is, and went to her and helped her go find a nearby place to buy a replacement tire,
mm-hmm,
and helped her with that situation. And also upon meeting him, she was like, "Oh, he's good looking." Foreshadowing. Remember, I said that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
He was
mm-hmm,
tall. Well, he's tall, and whatever. Anyway, she found him attractive, and so and she was taken by his kindness that he went that extra mile. And not
mm-hmm.
only did he help her in that situation, he even bought the tire for her and everything. Right? Problem solved. So from then, now she's really got hooked in. Now, if somebody does that on their
Mhm.
first date, that's going to take a
Yep.
lot of your reservations, because you're like, all the things you wonder about of somebody, that demonstration would be like, okay, there's a lot that happens you would see in somebody doing that. Even the fact that he
Yeah, it's the
came to you.
beginning of the love bombing. It's the
Yes,
beginning.
girl. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's how they meet. So that's
Mhm.
and that's really, I think, the crux of how she let so many red flags
Mhm.
go by. Another
Mhm.
and so now I'm going to go through some headlines with this scenario. Every call that he would be on the phone regularly with his family, his brother or a friend,
Mhm.
regularly, and he would be on the phone, like, talking to these people every day. Finds out he was never talking to anybody.
My God.
Third, his mother, he said, passed away during meet recently when they were together. She passed away a long time, like 2015.
Wow.
The woman, his ex-wife or whatever that he was with, that woman had two children, not by him, but had two children that he considered his own children. She lied and said that woman's child died during COVID.
Mm.
Lied, the child's alive, and for as a way to borrow money from this woman, his new woman, his wife. They eventually got married. That's even worse. It got so far
Yep.
as that they got married. It got so far that she got pregnant, but she miscarried as well. She
Mhm.
didn't actually have the child. And another thing is, key point before we move on into our discussion, is he always was help paying the bills. And
Mhm.
somehow they moved in together. It was COVID, so a lot of people use that to their advantage. So somehow, I don't know how that conversation, but somehow he ended up moving in with her. During that time, they were looking for a house. While I guess during the time, maybe she got pregnant, and that's what they were looking for a bigger house for this to start their family or whatever. Because he
Mhm.
already said after that, he was like, "Yeah, I want to marry you. I want to." He was saying all the right things, right?
Well, he initially had said in the very beginning that he was looking for a house. So he gave the impression
Yes,
to her
yes,
that
you got yes,
he
exactly.
already wanted to do it. So
So
it
now
wasn't
let's do it together, because we're going to be
exactly. Make
together.
it
I want to
easier for
marry
each
you and
other.
everything and all these things. And so he wasn't being presenting as a deadbeat. He was paying the bills. Da, 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 da. The red flags came up when the deal for the house was supposed to close and all this rigmarole was happening. So that first real estate agent that she had was kind
Mhm.
of calling out some things for her to concern. Another component of the story is, during this time, she never told her friends or family, like, the details of what was going on.
Mhm.
So she kind of pushed some people away. Near the end, she told
Mhm.
people, and that's kind of that helped her. But
Mhm.
when all the early stages of this relationship, she did kind of isolate herself, because maybe she knew at part of those things where, like, the red flags. Were you afraid that people would notice something that you were blind willfully ignoring? I feel so, because why
I
would you?
think so.
And then one
But
other
you
thing.
know what? I'll give her some grace because
Mhm.
during that period of love bombing,
Yes, the honeymoon stage too. You're
right?
kind of just focused on
You're
your
kind
relationship.
of beside yourself, right? And you're
Hmm.
so head over heels and you're being treated well. So, you're taking that on and you're in bliss with that person. So I'm going to give her 50-50. I think that she was ignoring the signs because she wanted to be love bombed. She wanted to have somebody dote over her and to
Mm.
do all these things for her. But in the other sense, I think she ignored it and isolated herself because she didn't want nobody to point out the obvious.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Sad, but true. Women do
And
it every day. Mm-hmm.
another thing, red flag, I think, that, like, how do I say this? So she was comfortable, like, I could see how she could believe that she wasn't with. Oh, okay. So when she miscarried, when she, I'm calling these things out because there's some cracks that should have been seen. So
Mm-hmm.
when she miscarried, and whoever was with her, her or the doctors who are her coworker, I don't know who was with her when she miscarried, or if anybody was with her, but it happened and he wasn't there, and the doctors and nurses were calling him to be like, oh, when everything happened was done, they're calling for him to come pick her up, because people can't really be in the hospital anyway, right? At that time, this is
Mm-hmm.
COVID. And it's like, oh, he's like, oh, It's like they couldn't get him, and he called, and when he called back to see what was going on, he pretended to be his own assistant,
Oh my
to
god.
be like, "Oh, he's in a meetings. He can't come to the phone. What's going on?" Da 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 da. And they tell him, and they're like, they need him to come pick her up. He's like, "Okay, he'll come after his meetings and pick her up from the hospital." You're like, if you're that's weird too, because if your wife or partner or whatever miscarries and is in the hospital, meeting is done. Meeting what mean
Finish. It could
what
be right in the middle of the damn meeting. I could
the
be
meeting
presenting and I get that call. Yeah, we're gonna have to revene another time. Bye bye.
right? So all of that. So come to find out that he was lying. He was pretending like he was some type of executive at some big company, but really he worked in like some type of manufacturing warehouse. I think he was some role there, and you know those places you can't just pick up and leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, who cares? You have an emergency, but he's a liar. Okay, so I want to leave it there, and eventually she gets in. How it kind of ends and tails off is that she gets in contact with his ex-wife, because that the whole thing with getting money for the
The
ex-wife's
child that
daughter,
died. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
supposedly putting death on this woman's child, which is messed up, is it always rubbed her the wrong way, because she was just like, how come you always have money for this and that, and then all of a sudden you need money to send to your ex?
Right.
Like, it was weird for some whatever
Like
reason.
you want me to spend my money on your ex.
Yeah, so I don't remember this. There's some story excuse that he uses, obviously, but
Yeah.
anyway, she does it. But something gets in her to call the ex-wife, and I don't remember what she was asking her about, but she never tells the ex-wife that the man told her, because she said she couldn't have it in her heart to tell her that the guy put that on her daughter, right?
Right.
But she's just talking to him and stuff, and the woman's like, did he, right away tells her, like, this guy is pretty much tells a story that mirrors her own, in that the man
Wow.
is a pathological liar, and this and that. And yeah, and another thing that it was she found out that, again, with all another red flag, but he must have been like seeing prostitutes and on sex sites a lot. And so when she confronted him about it, all the things that, like, they're a couple, you're a couple, you talk about what you like, you don't like, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that he said that he wasn't into when they had their personal conversation about, what they
Mm-hmm.
want to do in the bedroom, he was doing with prostitutes.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's where he's like, and all this stuff. So it's like, yeah, so there's obviously a lot more, but I'm just trying to pinpoint all the
Mm-hmm.
the things where who would have
Mm-hmm.
told a normal thinking woman, a normal confident woman, to
Mm-hmm.
run for the blood clot hills.
You see
So
what Beyonce?
I'm
Yes.
so I'm gonna stop there, and we can discuss. And then, okay, so the debate is the online that I see online is, there's a lot of sympathy. I think regardless, people are sympathizing, even if somebody's naive, even if somebody is. I think this was willful ignorance on her part.
Mm-hmm.
But I think another thing, there are some people who are just like, wait a minute, come on, girl, like you let yourself get into this to get into, like, you went a little too far into the lie, you went a little
Mm-hmm.
too far into this, like, there's just too many things here that you let yourself be the fool in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And but then there's an argument now where the people say, like, black women, it's hard for black women to find marriage partners if they,
Mm-hmm.
within the black community. It's just we know it's a challenge, right? And so her friends and stuff, I'm sure she's seeing her friends and coworkers, family or whatever, getting their, happy story with
Mm-hmm.
marriage and family. And I think maybe she was in a really low spot and vulnerable spot when
Mm-hmm.
she met this person, and allowed her to again, I'm saying willfully, get into a situation that was messed up. And I'm still waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the Lifetime, the Tyler
Right?
Perry, the audio book. Somebody, it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm sorry, it's literally gonna happen.
I
Maybe
so see Tyler on that. Tyler is gonna
go.
take it.
This is like a
Yep.
Tyler. This is literally a
Yep.
Tyler Perry script. Okay,
Yep.
I was like, it's
Finished written.
crazy. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact
Mm-hmm.
is, at first I was like, no, this girl's too good at telling this story. Is this a fraud? But when the ex-wife now came out,
Jeez.
And then they found him and he came out. I was like, oh shit, it's a real
This is
story.
real. This is real. This is
So
real.
okay, but now this the people are saying is that, you know, black women, that pressure she felt from society or culture or her social circle
Mhm.
to, you know, to be married and have start her family and have her person and, you
Mhm.
know, do whatever is expected of her as a woman or whatever in her mind,
Mhm.
opened her up to this. And if society didn't have that or she didn't put that pressure on herself, she wouldn't have got herself in this mess. But, you know, from what you know and what you see,
Mhm.
what were your thoughts? Are you more sympathize or are you more like she's a fool?
I know I should take a side, but I'm kind of in the middle.
Me too.
I'm
I
kind
am
of in the
too.
middle only because I am a black woman and you know, I just got married the other day. Okay. So
Mhm.
I've been her. I've been her. And I've been in situations where you just want to be loved. You just want, and at this point, for her, I don't know if it mattered what race he was, but I think there's comes a point as a young woman, regardless of the pressures of the world, you
Mhm.
want to be loved and you want to have your happily ever after. You know what I mean? Just like every other woman. Now, that happily ever after could look different for you than another woman, right?
Mhm.
But I think generally speaking, we kind of want that. And so I can understand from that perspective. However, girl, I have gone through it with these men. And so I learned from every one of them. Every one of them. And they kind of built the woman I am today because I learned from my mistakes. And yeah, you want to be loved, but you don't want a fantasy. You really don't. You want someone that's true and that's real and that what you have with them is real. I think she deliberately saw the red signs. I think that she saw them, they were shining brightly red in her eye, but she chose to ignore it because she wanted whatever she wanted, whether she was feeling pressured, whether she just wanted to be loved, whether she just wanted to have be in a relationship with someone, have someone to care for her, whatever it was. I think she deliberately ignored those signs. So I can understand from that perspective, like, why she might have done what she did. But it takes two to play this game. It takes two to play this game. There's no way he should be in your house before you're even dead for a year. Okay, and from what the
Right? Like
understanding I got was this was quick, fast, and in a hurry,
yes,
and
there you go.
and it was within a 6 month span. It sounds like
Mm.
that's too little time for you to come and be up in my house. I don't care what the hell the pandemic is saying. If all we can do is FaceTime, then we're gonna be the best FaceTime relationship that is out there. I'm not letting no, and I have learned lessons from men who it didn't work out with. Like one of my rules, and I say this all the time: if in the first 3 months he's telling you about his finances and
Mm.
how he needs money and he can't pay for this and he's having problems with that. Hit the road, Jack. You better be gone. You better pick up yourself and leave quick time and in a hurry because that man right there, he's trying to use you. And so that's something I've learned. And I'm sure she's not, a little girl. She's a grown ass woman, right?
Mhm.
So I would think that she would have learned some life lessons and she knows within her heart that she was being taken for. But she wanted what she wanted so badly that she was willing to ignore certain things because you now have to ask yourself the question, why would you even think to contact his ex? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
Why?
there's more. It's again. I
I
don't.
know
There's.
there's a
I'm
whole
sure.
lot of context to it,
Yeah.
right? But there obviously was something in you. that said, this don't feel right here. Let me find out more. Let me call people he used to know. Let me talk to people that are supposed to be in his life. You know, so there was something in you that you were ignoring that you couldn't ignore anymore, and then you had to explore. And when you explored, you found out the truth. So to ask the question, who the fuck did I marry? The question should be to yourself.
Mm. Why
You
the
shouldn't
fuck
be
did I marry
asking
him?
nobody that question. Okay, you should be asking yourself, who the hell did I really marry? For real, for real. And you should have asked that before, like, who's in my house?
Who's
How
in my
about that?
house? Who's in my house?
Who the hell is in my house? Okay? Who the hell is in my bed? Who the hell am I talking to? Listen, girl, there's a whole leap of who the F's should you have asked way before you accept marriage proposal. Way before you said I do. You know, so I don't really feel bad for her, but I do feel bad for her because I was her at one point in my life, like
Yeah.
wanting that love of a lifetime and having companionship. Like but I had to be around a lot of frogs first.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna sum up my thoughts, which where I'm with you. I'm in the middle of where my feelings I do sympathize, but I also feel like there was a lot of willful ignorance on her part, and I'm gonna summarize it with this tweet that I saw from this podcaster
She's gonna
I
drop the
listened to.
mic, everybody. She's gonna drop the mic. Okay, let's hear
No,
it.
no, I'm not. No, I'm
You're
not gonna.
gonna
I'm
drop
just
the
trying.
mic today.
I'm not going to drop. It's not my words, so I'm not dropping them. It's not my words, so I'm not going to drop the mic. I think there's more coming out of this, so I think we're just touching on it. But it was just like it's like everywhere, so we had to. But
Yeah, no.
this is just
And
going
this
to
is an
wrap up
issue that affects our black women
community, black women in particular. So it's hard for me
particular.
to be
Yeah.
judgmental of her. But so she said, this 50-part TikTok series that has been on the internet has the internet in a so this 50-part TikTok series that has the internet in a chokehold. This lady's story is one of many disastrous outcomes of telling women their only or greatest worth is in marriage and motherhood, or worse, they are worthless if they are not married or a mother, and put them on a timeline to achieve in quotations.
Hmm.
This lady by her own mouth made a lot of bad decisions and ignored many red flags. But that didn't happen in a bubble. You continuously tell women they are worthless without a husband and child and treat them as though they are worthless. Then be shocked and appalled that women so do desperate shit to be married. And there we go. That was her
And there we
thoughts.
go. And you know what? To be honest, that goes for all women,
All women, yeah.
all of us, because we're fed this idea from society that that's what we're supposed to do. Now, as a Christian woman, I do see the importance of a woman and in a family setting and all of the rest. I see it. I get it. I understand God's divine plan, and I understand that the time that we're living in, unfortunately, there's more of these type of dudes out here than there are dudes who are serious and who are legit and really want the same things as women want, to be the
Mhm.
head of a household and to protect and provide and do all the rest. I feel sad for her, only because why would you feel that you had to ignore those red flags?
Mm.
Because you did, and we all do. We all do. But let's also keep it a buck that black women, the statistics are out there, that we're less likely to get married, that we're more likely to just be baby mothers, okay? That we are more likely to do this, that, and the third. And I think that as black women, we should not feed into that. Let's not feed into that. Because when we do, then we end up in situations like this, where we're willing to ignore our obvious instincts, our obvious gut reaction that no, he should. what's going on here? This doesn't seem right. We should follow those instincts. So we shouldn't feed into this narrative that is always pushed upon us Black women, and I believe that everybody has their person out there. God assigned everybody a person, and when the time comes, you will meet that person. And what I hope for her, just on a positive note, is that she was able to get this off her chest, that she was able to move forward, that she was able to expose this man so that another woman doesn't have to get taken. And I really hope that she finds the love that she deserves. After all of this experience, I hope she's learned from it. I hope it was a valuable experience for her to actually move forward and to find the love of her life, or to let that love of her life find her.
Yeah.
It's sad that she had to go to the internet about this, though, because when I did see how much time she spent on this, it's about a 5-hour situation here.
Oh, she's gonna reap the benefits for sure.
She sure will, because Tyler will be knocking on her door in a hot minute. Tyler, I can hear it now. Okay. But you know what? I think that what we should do as a society is, can we just lay off of women? Like, can we just, like, lay off? You know what I mean? Like, when we do, we do. When we get married, we get married. When we have children, we have children. Like, just lay off. Like, how about we explore women for what other values they have? Like, what other things that they have? Their intelligence, their, resilience. Their, like, we're so much more than just wives and mothers.
Mm-hmm.
God made us special that way. So I think maybe we should look into those things and push those narratives on our young girls and focus on those things a little bit more, so that we don't have to grow up feeling like, oh, I have to do it by this time and I have to have this by this time. Because there was a point where I felt the same. I felt the pressures. And so, you know what? With that being said, I hope that this lady has learned a valuable lesson, and I hope that she's empowered other women who might be in situations that just don't feel right, and they know it just doesn't feel right, that they don't just stay in a situation that doesn't feel right, that they come out of that situation and look and see for it, what it is. Like, be truthful to yourself. And my last thing to say is, the worst thing you can do in this world is lie to yourself. Okay? You can lie to the whole world, but don't lie to yourself. And that's exactly what this young lady did, where she lied to herself. She knew what was obvious. She knew, she could see it. It didn't feel right. Her intuition, her gut feeling, but she kept lying to herself. That it's not what she sees. It's not what she thinks. It's not what it is. And that's the worst thing you could do to yourself, is lie to yourself. So don't do that, everybody. Be truthful to yourself. See it for what it is. And so, if there's anything else you had to say about Miss Girlfriend and her saga,
we can wrap it up.
Yes, Tyler, go holler at this lady right here, please. Don't let her 5-hour sitcom or whatever go to waste, please, and thanks. And we do hope that your hearts and your minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We will talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.